I can safely say that we have all seen very smart people do really stupid things or hold really stupid beliefs. This phenomenon has a name. It is called Amathia, and it was coined by Greek philosophers. We don't have an equivalent English name for that word, so we usually translate it by ignorance, but a better translation would be intelligent stupidity. Amathia is when people refuse to understand something. It's different from ignorance when you don't know something or are not capable of understanding. Amathia is a willful resistance to changing your opinion. You actually kind of heard about the concept in the famous saying from Socrates that knowledge is the only good for humans and ignorance is the only evil. And a lot of people would object and say that babies are completely ignorant and they are no evil. And that on the other hand, we know many very smart, highly educated people who do evil. Socrates didn't mean ignorance as in people not knowing, he meant amathia as in people refusing to learn. And I'm making this video because I think that this concept has always been true and still applies today, but that it's being fostered by social media, and I'm working on this channel a way of understanding what's happening now with this new world that we are a part of. So stay tuned. On the mild form of amathia is just laziness. You don't really want to consider a problem and understand it. There is also a resistance to understand because this would be costly for you. For example, if you were to change your mind on something, you lose your salary, or you build your life around a certain value or a certain belief, maybe a political belief, and if you were to change your mind, you would have to go back to all the people you preached to tell them that no, actually you think you are wrong. In that sense, shame is a powerful motivator against understanding something and towards amathia. This type of willful ignorance can also be bred into people by bad knowledge and bad education. You can teach wrong beliefs to people or confuse them through education, parents, school, university, so that people are not able to understand things and get to the truth. And the worst side of amathia would be evil, the banality of evil. You probably know Hannah Arendt. She coined the term the banality of evil. She was a young reporter, not so famous, and she was sent to Israel to cover the trial of Eichmann. And this man didn't directly kill Jews. He organized the deportations. And in the trial, he kept saying that he was only doing his job. He didn't care where the people were sent. And that deeply impressed Hannah Arendt because she realized that this man was not fundamentally evil, but he was also completely unwilling to use his mental processes to realize the extent of his action, to empathize with others, and to act on this new information. It is an extreme form of amathia. And it happened to other people in Germany and in the German military who did not want to face the extreme facts regarding what was happening in their own camp. But the way to fight amathia is not with more facts and reasoning, it's not even with experiences and feelings, because people have been confronted with reason to change their opinions and they have refused to do so. What usually needs to be done is a change in ethics and in moral philosophy. You need people to judge again what their priorities in life are, what is important, how to nuance it together, so they can build a new sense of self that can integrate this new information. And in a way, social media is making it very hard for us to do that because we are doing social media nowadays with our own face and our own name. So we carry our reputation with us online. And we are expected to have biography and to describe ourselves with labels and tickers and names. We then join groups and tribes online, and each of these tribes has their own set of beliefs. Most of their beliefs are good, most of their habits are good, but there is always things that are either wrong or partially wrong or not exactly the truth. And at that point you become committed. If you have declared yourself, for example, in support of the Green Party, but the Green Party starts to do something really odd, then suddenly you are feeling divided. Because if you speak against the Green Party, people will say, but why did you support them before? Were you wrong? And it feels kind of shameful to admit that you are wrong. On the other hand, if you just pretend you didn't see the problem, it's very cheap for you, and you get to keep good figure. It's a tactic that is used more and more by political groups, not the Green. That was just an example because I'm reading on the topic. But political groups use this kind of small foot in the door to get people to commit. Because if you can get people to put a slogan or a hashtag or some supporting cause in their biography or on their avatar, they become committed to the cause. And if the cause later on, or the organization starts doing shady stuff or creepy stuff, The people who have committed themselves to that cause will feel shame calling it out because they will feel like they had bad judgment back in the days when they supported the cause. It's a technique used by ideologies to silence people who would speak out against the problem, because if you've openly supported a cause, it becomes quite painful to then openly speak out against it. And this brings us to the solution. You've largely seen that you cannot convince people online unless they are ready to be convinced and unless they want to examine the ideas themselves. The technique that Socrates was teaching was not educating people on facts, because otherwise he would have made more schools, he would have pushed people to learn more stuff. No, he wanted people to walk around and to discuss. He wanted people to learn about themselves, about their own beliefs, about their own functioning, and to kind of realize where the limits are, so they could push them, so they could go beyond them and grow as individuals in their own way of thinking. He was fighting not ignorance as it not knowing stuff, he was fighting Amathia, the unwillingness to learn. If you learned something, please like the video, and thank you so much for watching.